Hey there in YouTube land, and today is my next Halloween review. So, knowing that tonight is the pay-per-view United Champions, which actually doesn't look very good, but I'm going to give it a watch anyway. Uh, I went to my WWE Network, which I have, and I decided I'll watch Halloween Havoc. So, that'd be kind of my Halloween review for tonight. But I decided to watch the first Halloween Havoc, 1989, the year I graduated from high school. And I shouldn't have started with the first Halloween Havoc. I may actually watch a different one or something else because this seemed very on Halloween. To be honest with you, there was like not a lot Halloween like in it. We had Gordon Soley as like kind of a guest announcer, who then was the voice of wrestling. Apparently, my better half is not impressed with Gordon Soley's announcing at all. He was just doing interview stuff. Jim Ross was one of the main announcers, of course, back then in WCW, because WCW, in case you don't know, did Halloween Havoc, started in '89, and went on until the ended. Jim Ross announced there, and there was another announcer who I don't remember the name of. So it started off with Mike Rotundo versus Z-Man, Tom Zink, of course, and both guys would go on to do much better stuff, especially Mike Rotundo. Mike Rotundo is probably best known to wrestling fans now as the dad of Bo Dallas and, of course, Bray Wyatt, who's one of the more popular and more, I guess, horror-centric characters in the WWE right now. This is not that Mike Rotundo. He's not even Irwin R. Shyster at this point, or Captain Mike. This is way before all that. This is before the Varsity Crew Club. This is before Irwin R. Shyster. This is before Wall Street. This is when he's Mike Rotundo, and it's not a good match. It's pretty boring. Rotundo does what he can. The Z-Man, which is hilarious. I went around to the kitchen during the match because it wasn't very good to get some food and stuff like that, and told him that the A-Man needed to get some food. It did impress. I was really surprised. The second match came up, and it was the Midnight Express with Dr. Death Steve Williams against, I got it all written down here. Oh, Samoan SWAT team. So we had, of course, the Samoan SWAT team, otherwise known as the Head Shrinkers, by the way. And they have the Big Kahuna. And the Big Kahuna, of course, is Oliver Humperdinck. This match, again, oh, God, didn't like it that much. It was so-so, I guess. It just seemed like a showcase for Dr. Death's character. The Samoan SWAT team did what they could, after all. That is Samu Fatu, of course. But it wasn't good. And to go from bad to worse, we got the next match was Tommy Wildfire Rich against the Cuban Assassin. And how was that match? Oh, by the way, first match, Mike Rotundo lost to Tom Zink in a kind of a roll-up small package type thing. And the second match, the Midnight Express one, I think? Yeah. No, Samoan SWAT team win. I don't remember how, but they won. And Tommy Wildfire Rich versus the Cuban Assassin, and Wildfire Rich wins it. Tommy Rich gets it. Then we get the Freebirds. Michael P.S. Hayes, of course, and Jimmy Garvin audition the Freebirds with against the Dynamic Dudes. And the Dynamic Dudes are Johnny Ace, who many of you guys know as John Laurinaitis from the WWE, and Shane Douglas, of course, the famous and infamous Shane Douglas from the ECW days, and TNA. They wasted him in WWE, yeah. So the Freebirds are the rock team with the long hair, looking like some. It's in the late '80s and looking like some late '70s era rock group that are way past their prime, and Dynamic Dudes come out in pastels and carrying skateboards, which they do not use. So I'm going to take a shot in the dark and guess that either both Johnny Ace and Shane Douglas don't know how to skateboard. Not a knock on them for that. This was their gimmick and stuff like that. But come on, even I skateboarded back then. it wasn't a. It was a match. Well, this again, nothing stood out. I do like Shane Douglas. I like his wrestling. Uh, this was a pretty bad match. Just nothing was interesting in this one here. And the winner, because I have to look because this is how much it's. Doom wins it with, of course, Doom. Okay, we're on to the next match. So no, Freebirds win. Yay. The next match was the Steiner Brothers versus Doom. It's like basically Doom 1 and Doom 2. And Doom, yes, Doom 1 and Doom 2. Doom was known, of course, as Ron Simmons, who would later become Farouk in the WWE. And, of course, he was the first black wrestler to win the heavyweight championship in the WCW. And Butch Reed was also known as a natural in the WWF. Now, it's not a good match. The one thing that made it hard for me to watch is that the team of Doom is brought in and managed by a woman. A woman, of course, is Nancy Benoit, who was murdered a few years back by her husband, Chris Benoit, and in a murder-suicide with her child. It was a hard match to watch because of that, and it wasn't the best match. Nancy Benoit's character of woman, of course, kind of like helps Doom win, because that's kind of what managers do. They cheat and help them win. It wasn't a good match. I can't recommend that one either. The next match I actually did like, and that was Lex Luger versus Brian Pillman. Lex Luger has never been known as the greatest wrestler, but Brian Pillman has always been known as a fantastic wrestler and a fantastic talker, which was really strange because what we get is an interview with Lex Luger at the beginning of this, and I know Lex Luger was in his prime about right then, but Pillman should have been the one doing the talking here. It's a United States Championship match, and we get a pretty decent match. Not great by any means, but it's a decent match. Definitely watchable. And Pillman loses to Luger, who retains the United States Championship. That was a bit of a disappointment. Next up were the Road Warriors versus the Skyscrapers. Of course, the Road Warriors are Animal and Hawk. Will also be known as the Legion. The Legion of Doom would be kind of like a team like them. Anyway, so Skyscrapers were Dan Spivey, of course, and Sid Vicious. Now, of course, Sid Vicious is the most known out of those two wrestlers. I think that one went to a disqualification just because it was a complete clusterfuck of a match. Pardon my French. And nobody wanted to lose. That's pretty much what it came across like. The last match of the night is called a Thunderdome match. Yes, this was around the time that the Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome came out. So we got Ric Flair and Sting in one corner. We've got the Great Muta, a very young Great Muta, and Terry Funk in the other corner. And basically, there's a cage that's decorated to be the Thunderdome. And outside of the ring, but inside of the cage, there's Ole Anderson with the towel and Gary Hart with the towel. And basically, when there's no pinfalls or submissions, you can only win when the person on the outside throws the towel in, basically, drops the towel. The top of the cage is supposed to be electrified. So at the beginning of the cage, sometimes with one of the Transformers, and the top of the cage starts to catch on fire. Not planned, by the way. It's obvious that it wasn't planned. And I think Muta spits on it and gets it out when they're running down for the fire extinguisher for the cage. A big brawling match ensues. Is it a good match? No, it's not a good match. It's a gimmicky match. It's an okay match. It's not a great match for the first Halloween Havoc. I'm amazed that after this more Halloween Havocs will come, because but I guess they set the bar really, really low for this one here. If I know there are going to be fans of this, and they're going to be kind of like, how can you not like the classic Halloween Havoc? I didn't. I really didn't. At least it had wrestling in it, which is more than you see nowadays. But you know what? I was actually, maybe I'm spoiled or attention deficit or something, but right now I was like, my God, I would like to see something different, a screw or a job or a Rusify it a bit or give me a skit or something to make this interesting. Because my God, this was 2 hours and 48 minutes long, and it was so many times that I'd go and get tea and drinks and chips and coffee and just chocolate caramel brownie coffee. But God, man, what the hell? I do plan to try and watch more of these Halloween Havocs, but I'm skipping ahead a few years, I think. And the next one I watch is definitely going to be the one that has the monster truck match. I remember that watching it with my son back in the day. Yeah, the monster truck match. That was a unique one. Hulk Hogan with a monster truck, the giant Paul White, known as Big Show with the monster truck. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the one with Chucky in as well. Anyway, that's been Halloween Havoc. How do I rate it? Low. I give it a 1.5 out of 5. It really wasn't that good. Some wrestling purists may like this. I don't think it cuts the mustard for today's wrestling, but does that mean is it bad? It's boring. Uh, there may be some of your favorites in there, so you may want to watch it anyway. Halloween's coming up, so we all watch Halloween movies and horror movies and stuff like that. So think outside the box a little bit when you're doing your reviews and all that stuff on here. There's Halloween cartoons and TV shows and there's Halloween pay-per-views, wrestling pay-per-views and stuff like that. So think about that when you're looking at reviews. That's my extra tip for Halloween Marathon Month. I hope you had a great one, and I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. I plan on doing absolutely zero Sunday except watching TV and doing some reviews on here. Have a great day, everybody. Right now my throat's going. I've been talking here for 12 minutes. It's time for tea. Thunderdome. I didn't like the Mad Max movie Thunderdome. I like this even less. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good Sunday.